Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, it's Wednesday, which means it's time for your hot takes and for us to react to them as soon as Larson is just downing every last sip of that whatever's in that green mug.
It was coffee, warm coffee, not hot, but now it's gone, so there's no warm beverages inside. The only thing's hot on this show now are these takes.
Are the takes, which are simmering. Wait, no. Yeah,
Scalding.
Scalding.
Scalding hot.
Not really that
don't
hot.
touch. It's too hot.
Do not touch. All right. Well, what's the first one, man?
First one here we got is from Atticus.
Atticus.
8659 says, Austin Theory cannot be revealed as the masked man. They've done a terrible job making him feel like a star. If they reveal Theory as the mystery man, it'll be met with groans. Ugh.
We should rank, not blindly rank, but we should rank who the.
Are you over the blind power rank? It's been a rough last 24 hours for you in terms of blind power ranking things. Are you
hey, let's not forget the one of yours at the end of Raw.
Hey, I'm not saying
I
did great on that one. I did terribly on that one. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, no, I'm saying let's actually rank for the sake of this conversation.
Sure.
Who would benefit most, or what would be the best scenario for Masked Man should he be revealed? Let's just say at Raw next week.
I mean, I don't disagree with the idea that unless they do a lot of setup, if Austin Theory is unmasked as masked attacker, it's not going to be met with, I think, the impact that they want it to be. I think a lot of people are like, all right, it's Austin Theory, so what?
Just like in a vacuum, if he just like went, oh, it's me.
Yeah. You know, if he did the Dick Togo, reveal, camera
Dick Togo
zooms
would be
in.
a great name. That'd be a
very, House of Torture invasion of WWE would be great.
Yeah.
But you know, if he does the reveal and the camera zooms in on him as Austin Theory, people would be like, all right, it's Austin Theory. Why? Like, I get it. He has history with Seth. They can play off that, but really, not just in terms of the stories they want to tell, but why? Why Austin Theory? You know, like, I feel like there's a lot of work they have to do to rehabilitate him in the fans' eyes after breaking up with a tag partner in the background of shots. I mean, the story that went on for way too long and never really had any sort of real blow off because he was evidently hurt. So I, you know, if you give me a list of 10 names and Austin Theory is on that list of 10 names, he will be, my estimation, on the bottom half of that list.
Here's the thing. There's a lot of names that sort of fit that same bill. Like, for example, when people say Montez Ford, it's like, okay, well, again, why? Besides just, I want to be part of the vision because they're the future, which isn't a terrible thesis necessarily, but...
No, but at least in Montez's case, people will be into it simply because they're excited that he's finally getting the singles run.
A certain segment of the audience would be, they'd be like, yay. Carmelo Hayes is another name, you know, that would kind of fit that bill. It's like, okay, well, you guys have been doing something with him already on SmackDown. Is he doing this concurrently? That's a little bit weird.
You know a name that would make a lot of sense?
Tony D.
It's Baron Corbin. He was tag partners with Braun in NXT. It would make sense for Braun to call him up and be like, hey, we need to bolster our numbers. Come join us.
They'd have to explain why the guy in the mask is like 5'10", and not whatever he is, like 6'4" or whatever.
Yeah. No, Baron's probably a lot taller than 6'4". He's a tall dude.
How tall do you think he is?
I think they build him at like 6'8", so he's probably, he might be 6'6", which I guess isn't that far removed from 6'4".
Oh, I like that you just danced around the number. Well done. Well played, friend. Okay, so what about... So you just named a return. What about a debut? What about Chris Jericho?
No.
It would pop the crowd huge,
It would pop the crowd.
It wouldn't make any sense, but it would pop the crowd.
If anything, it'd be antithetical to what the vision is supposed to be about.
They're about the future. Jericho's going to be about the future.
Although Jericho...
The learning tree.
Jericho leeching off the future of the WWE, from Jericho's perspective, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But in terms of the vision's mission statement, 0 sense.
Yeah, they need to this. It has to. That's why they have really sort of put themselves in a bit of a bind, because I don't know who, just unveiling the mask. It should already make sense and still be. That's why these things are never good. It should make sense and be a surprise, and that's really really hard to pull off.
It is.
So, you know what? I personally do hope it is Austin Theory, because I feel like for the longest time, this guy has had plenty to offer that they have never really been able to tap into. It seemed like when Triple H, if you remember when Triple H took over, he seemed to be one of the first reclamation projects and was like immediately dropped. Like that did not last. Remember, he instead of the selfie, he just started wearing like a green jacket with no shirt on underneath, and that was his signature. It was like
he started shopping at the Army Navy surplus.
Yeah, right, exactly. And it seemed to be more a case of, hey, I'm guy who, I'm serious now.
He was badass dude who liked to fight. He was just a little more violent, but not uncomfortably so.
Chip on his shoulder guy is what he was. Triple H likes that too.
Yeah, but it never really went far enough to be either captivating or compelling in any way.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If he did, I'll say this. I'll add a little addendum here. If he does something interesting, and I'm not talking about a promo, along with the unmasking. For example, Logan Paul's part of the Vision right now. I think, the early returns on that, I think, are a bit better than I thought they would have been. I thought that he was going to be one and done for War Games.
Same.
But they're still figuring out the dynamics, as we saw on Raw this week.
Yeah.
It wasn't the smoothest thing in the world, but I kind of get what they're going for.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, that episode of Raw kind of made a little bit more sense. It's like, oh, I kind of see this. And if Austin Theory unmasked during a segment with them and they jumped Logan Paul out or something along those lines where it made sense, then it's like, okay, there's some bit of explanatory action to go with this. Then I think Austin Theory could totally fit. But if it's going to be a DDP revealed as stalker situation where it's just like, oh shit, it's DDP, didn't see that one coming, and it's just Austin Theory and there's really no rhyme or reason to it, that's not going to go over terribly well. Besides just like, oh, well, at least it's been revealed now. Now we can move on and figure out why next week, which is, I think, the likeliest situation, to be honest with you. Oh, he's revealed. Now I guess they'll have to explain why next week.
Yeah, then the process will begin of, all right, the why.
Yeah.
And exploring the dynamics now that he's apparently a member of the Vision. And why his joining the Vision is essential to the Vision's mission.
To the Vision's vision.
The Vision's vision.
Yeah.
Do you think the Vision has a vision board?
Which one is the vision board? Is it where you put a bunch of stuff that you cut out from magazines?
Yeah.
I need a vision board.
I mean, you could kind of say that your entire office is one large vision board in a certain respect.
You're so fucking right about that. My mom came in here the other day and she was looking around. She's like, my God, all this stuff. It was like Brian Cox in the backseat on Zodiac.
Yep.
My God, man, do you ever clean your car? Are these animal crackers?
Oh, my goodness. Next hot take here. More Masked Man hot take says the Masked Man, sorry, this is from Bucket Dipper. The Masked Man will be Jericho, and they're waiting for his AEW contract to run up in the meantime. No chance.
You think there's no chance it's Chris Jericho?
Sorry, not no chance. Slim chance. It wouldn't make any sense.
If he was on a name of 10, and let's
9,
say
I'd place him 9th on the list.
Let's say 3 of them were NXT call-ups, like Ricky Saints, Javon Evans, the Dark State person, I don't know, Miles Bourne.
Cutler James from Dark State.
Yeah, there you go. 3 of them were that. 3 of them were mid-card guys like Theory, Hayes, and whatever. That's 6. And then, there's a return Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
And then 3 of them are like Jericho-type guys. You think Jericho will be really low?
Yeah, I'd put Jericho about 9.
Yeah.
Jericho's coming back. I'm pretty convinced he's coming back.
He's definitely coming back. Yeah.
Putting him in that role just doesn't make any sense.
Mark my words, he's going to debut at the Rumble. He's going to
return at the Rumble. Yeah.
They're going to have the countdown.
Yep.
Because
The Y2J countdown. Yeah.
If we know anything about, like, the people running the Saudi thing, they love their nostalgia. So they're going to be like, Triple H, here's the deal. We want that countdown from 99, man. That was the greatest debut of all time.
So let's
like,
re-debut him.
Let's re-debut him, exactly.
Heck, even call up Dwayne, see if he can show up, be in the ring when that happens.
Yeah, I don't know. There should be some betting odds on this, but I think Jericho would probably be pretty low.
Yeah.
Or well, you can fleece a bunch of casuals, I feel like casuals would probably think it's Jericho. No offense to Bucket Dipper, but I don't think it's going to be Jericho.
No, I don't think
so. Dude, if it's Jericho, I am going to go to wherever that show is and be like, I want to see you scale a cage. I want to see you do that with much quickness.
I would say, did you get cake implants?
Yeah, right. Let's see your booty. Please expose it now.
Yeah.
Did you, I even want to see him jump it, because the masked man from this week's Raw,
jumped the barricade pretty
quickly. He jumped the barricade. It wasn't. See, that's why I don't think it was Montez, because Montez would have flown over it.
Yeah.
I saw some people suggest that maybe it's Finn. I still think it's theory, but I saw some people suggest it's Finn.
No, this masked man is much thicker than Finn.
You think so? Well, it was pretty baggy this week, though. That's the thing. It was pretty. He was the clothes weren't as tight as they were the first time.
Watch an Austin Theory match and watch how he stands, how he moves.
I want to see him get out of the ring the way this guy did, where it was a very specific thing. He sort of leapt through the middle two ropes there.
Yeah.
I want to see that from Austin Theory.
All right.
You're probably right, though. Next up, Crash Bandicoot says, content creators are doing a better job than keeping wrestling relevant than WWE is.
Good job, us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're number one.
I mean, I guess that's part of our job description is take something that we've ingested, wrestling content.
Eggs.
Make it look interesting on a thumbnail and for the title so people click on it.
Yeah, right.
And then try to have interesting conversations that relate to what we had in the thumbnail and or description.
I mean, I can speak anecdotally. You know what's great? There's two anecdotal pieces of evidence here. Number one, there's been plenty of times of people in our comments and whatnot saying, I don't watch it anymore. I just listen to you guys to hear what happened. Mm-hmm. Which is crazy to me. And that's awesome. That's great. I love that. It's a concept kind of foreign to me. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I would listen to. Maybe if I got tired of one of the new Star Trek shows, maybe I'd listen to a podcast. But I don't know. I think I'd still have to watch the actual content.
Yeah, I think so. But, maybe wrestling's a thing that for a lot of stories, save for a few, stories are pretty straightforward. They're to motivate matches, not to tell.
It's a big time commitment, too.
Yeah.
And so it's like if you and I open the show, within 5 minutes of us talking, assume we don't tangentialize too much, you'll catch wind of whether or not you should watch it.
Yeah.
The other thing is I have noticed a lot more content creators are popping up. People who sit there and they get 16 views or 50 views, or they go live with their friends and they have 2 people watching, and they just do it because they enjoy doing it. And sure, I'm assuming that they have thoughts in their heads that, hey, maybe it'll blow up, maybe it won't, But even today, I was on stupid Twitter for half a heartbeat, and I saw somebody post a little thing, and they were talking about the Masked Man, had all of I don't know, 20 some odd views, but I was like, look at this, people are just out there doing their WWE content. So yeah, I think there is a whole industry of sort of propping up the interest, perhaps. But dude, as we've seen, whether it's us or any of the, names out there, when the interest is really high because the product is giving people something to chew on, then our numbers skyrocket. And that goes across the board with content creators. Everybody eats really good when the content that is being given, that we are ingesting, vis-a-vis the wrestling, is really good. So it all starts there. It all starts there.
It does. It absolutely does. I guess in these more fallow periods where, as evidenced by Raw last night, not a whole lot terribly interesting or compelling going on, trying to find those little things that are of interest and featuring those details, maybe that does something to keep what otherwise might not be in the conversation somewhat in the conversation. I don't know, honestly. You know, I kind of still exist in a bit of a bubble in terms of what we do. By that, I mean, I don't really ingest a whole lot of other wrestling content because, you know, I watch wrestling. I do this for a living. I just don't really have that.
Like other content creators?
In the wrestling sphere, I just don't really watch a ton of it.
Yeah, I don't either. I do this shit. I don't need to. I love that, you know, friends of ours are out there doing this stuff.
And doing really well. That makes me really happy. Yeah.
I'll keep tabs on, like, what people are doing.
Yeah.
In case, you know, I want to rip somebody off. No, I'm joking. But it's a good way to gauge conversation.
Absolutely.
Usually I just do that by looking at the thumbnails and titles.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, you know, like I said, we kind of, and have for ever since we started doing the YouTube thing, kind of exist in our own island.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily know if anybody in the wrestling sphere approaches things in the same manner as we do, per se.
No, everybody's unique, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny, dude, when people ask for advice, you know, hey, because I get that at least, you know, once a month over at Wrestle Juice for sure, every once in a while, but less here, I guess. But like, you know, people ask, hey, you know, what advice would you give for getting started? It's like, it's a crowded space.
Yep.
If you could find any way to stand out, you know, then do that. But otherwise, it's a crowded space.
It is.
But I think you're right about that. Yeah, I think that you and I have a unique situation going. Because we're old.
Yeah, we are old. We are probably the
we look at wrestling through the lens of people who have bad vision, whose hearing is starting to fail them.
Exactly. Whose joints hurt.
Who are grumpy.
Yeah, well, that's all true.
Oh man. Anyways, we got a sponsor for the show this week, man. So let's go ahead and talk about them.
Let's do it. This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by Orangevale. Steve, you know this firsthand. I like to give great, thoughtful gifts for the holidays.
Yes.
But for years, I had a hard time finding good gifts for my parents. Then last year, my hunt for the right gift led me to Aura Frames. I got my parents a Carver matte frame preloaded with pictures of the family, and it could very well be the most perfect holiday gift I've ever given them.
I actually gifted myself the gift of an Aura frame, Larson. You guys can see it there every single episode we do here. It's preloaded with pictures of my dog who passed away late last year. One of those pictures is of her growling at Larson one of the times he came over for one of them old Friendo Club bits. And I loved when she used to do that because anything to put you on edge gives me the advantage. With Aura Frames, you can effortlessly share unlimited photos and video by downloading the Aura app and connecting to Wi-Fi. Plus, each Aura Frame ships in a premium gift box that's ready to put under the tree.
You can't wrap togetherness, but you can frame it. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code RAW at checkout.
That's AURA frames.com, promo code RAW. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast. So order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. All right, we're going to move on now to the next hot take. This one comes to you from Broken Novocaine, who says, the Cody versus Drew feud has done nothing but hurt both guys. Cody's second reign is already stale from feuding with the same guy for 4 months, and Drew only looks worse with every new loss.
So Body Slam Plus had a thing up recently which suggested that, yes, this feud is going to continue. They're going to have another match, but they seem to imply that this next match is going to have some sort of long-reaching implications for their stories and characters.
I only read like the first bit that was in the email, and I didn't click on the rest of it. Because I was just guessing. I was like, oh, it's probably going to be their blow off or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but the idea is like, what are they saying? Drew's going to win this damn thing?
No, I don't believe that's necessarily per se the idea. I don't know. Otherwise, what kind of implications or whatever would there would be?
They gonna write Cody off or some shit?
Maybe.
Yeah, I
don't know.
I don't. I think it's my assessment is more along the lines of, and I guess it could be interpreted this way. I guess I'll throw it to you. I feel like I don't think Drew is hurt by constantly being in the main event scene, because that's what he is. But I don't know that standing pat in the main event scene really helps him much either. I don't think it hurts him, though, because the alternative would have been, if Jacob Fatu hadn't had whatever dental issues he had.
Yeah.
And let's say Drew was going to lose to Jacob Fatu, which I don't know is the case, but you and I think had both figured that would be the case. That Drew would have been in a worse place then than he is fighting for the world title in a main event situation.
I guess it would be better because he's in the main event, but it's not like long term, especially. So the exact wording here of the body slam thing is the expectation is that the next confrontation will have significant storyline implications for both men. So, as soon as Drew moves on to something else, unless something really memorable happens during the course of this feud, within weeks, people are going to forget about it in its entirety. So whatever benefit, if any, that Drew may have gotten from being in a main event feud is probably going to be pissed away pretty quick, especially if he's not involved in something high profile and interesting right after.
Yeah, I mean, that can kind of be said of anything, though. Like,
absolutely.
If he moves on to something that's like mid, then yeah, if he moves on to something good, then it's like, oh, that gave him some momentum. So yeah, I mean, as always with wrestling, it's always in the follow through.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what the alternative is. It's Triple H's simplistic booking, which dictates few plot twists, few plot turns. People are who they are. At the very least, at the very worst, they are fully realized. But that also sometimes and often actually means they don't really grow. And Drew's hallmark at this point is that he is his own worst enemy.
Yep.
And, I mean, at least when you think back on, for example, like the Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens feud, which I thought was a really good one. Mm-hmm. Kevin Owens first, when they did the thing with the two titles, I thought that was really fun. And then it culminated with a really vicious, violent match. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really, really well done. And I think Drew versus Cody probably needed something more structured like that.
Yeah.
For it to be, look back on, even, if Drew had something more along the lines of what he had with CM Punk last year, it would be more fondly remembered. But the problem with feuding with the world champion is that there's very few things you can do. Kevin Owens didn't win the title, but he made it a point to be the champion.
Yeah.
And that was a clever story beat. If you're not going to do something like that, which might just come off as a carbon copy of Kevin Owens, Drew kind of has to win the title for the story to advance and go to interesting places.
You would think so, but I'll believe it when I see it.
No, I agree. That's why I'm saying it's been stale, because he hasn't. And if you're
there's
going
been
to
no forward momentum for either.
Yeah,
character.
if you're gonna do this, if you're not gonna do something inventive, you can't just have match after match after match where the same thing happens over and over again.
No.
So I mean, you can have Cody yelling and ripping his shirt, and wearing his camo American Nightmare, outfit as much as you want, but it's not really doing much for stories. So
yeah.
I don't think. I mean, it goes a long way to say I don't think it hurt both guys. But it definitely sort of just was a stand pat feud, All right, Ronan the Analyst has another hot take. Says with the exception of Dom, the champions in WWE are uninteresting and directionless. I mean, this is just a blank. You guys got to get more specific in this.
Yeah, because I wouldn't say. I think Asuka and Kairi are not uninteresting.
They're
very interesting, and I feel
Yeah.
like there's actually direction in the women's tag team division for the first time in a while. I mean, I
the
feel like
women's
that's
tag
been the case
division
ever
is what
since
they're focusing on right now.
ever since Charlotte and Alexa won those tag titles. Been a lot more interesting things going on in that division.
I always look forward to Ilya's stuff.
Yeah. I mean, Cody's not the most. I mean, he gets great reactions still, but he's not doing the most interesting stuff. Neither is Punk.
No, we just talked about that.
I don't know what they're doing with Stephanie Vaquer. They're not telling any stories, really, with her.
No, they're not. They're not. She's sort of standard fighting champion. I want to fight the best because I'm the best, but I want to fight the best. So it's just sort of they're lining up people for her.
Yeah.
It's sort of more like the number one contender spot with the Judgment Day stuff is more interesting than the actual champion.
Yeah. Jade just had a bit of a heel turn, tweener turn. So,
Jade, that was a heel turn, man. She's a bad
guy. So, I still find what she's doing pretty interesting. Although, it's not like they're lining up, main event challengers for her at this point.
They don't have anybody on SmackDown. All the main eventers are in the tag division now.
I know. It's a problem.
Like all of them.
Let's see. The tag titles. Yeah.
Yeah, the Wyatts, they're not doing shit with the Wyatts.
No, they just show up, act a little spooky.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
get the brawl them, they move on.
They're with the MFTs are about to get those titles probably because they've figured out they have nothing for the Wyatts to do.
They got nothing for the Wyatts, no.
The Raw tag titles
is AJ and Dragon Lee.
I mean, this Raw had some development there, and on top of that, they put on last week they put on a really good match
with the exception
with the right
of
opponent.
The
they can have
with the exception of the War Raiders match, they put on really good matches.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of disagree with this. I think a big blanket statement like this isn't really, like you got to give us some examples of this because we just named 70% of the champions are actually pretty.
Yeah, at least half the champions.
At the very least, they're entertaining. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
The real positive guy says Vince was right, killing NXT Black and Gold. You can't develop talent as Obafemi, Braun Breaker, or Rhea.
Rhea was developed during that era of NXT.
Maybe he's talking about.
I don't know, but the general idea, I feel like
Thea Hale.
I don't know.
He says if you have to compete with the best world wrestlers in the world for the main event, what better way to you want them to be able to learn from wrestlers who have been doing it for 10, 12 years to put them up against they should be able to hang at least when it comes to presentation to aura, and then how quickly they pick it up.
Yep.
You should be aiming for everybody to be a Kurt Angle who in his first year absolutely hung with people. That's why the people who have broken out compared to the number of people they bring in are so few and far between.
Yeah.
There are very few spots.
If you look back at, NXT from its inception as TV show, not game show, as developmental promotion all the way to NXT 2.0, there have been a lot of success stories when it comes to wrestlers developed predominantly in-house. So not the Kevin Owens or the Finn Balor's or the Nakamura's or the Samoa Joe's, people who established themselves either internationally or in the independents here. And especially in the women's division. Like, I don't think Charlotte had any wrestling experience or nothing serious prior to signing with WWE.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know Becky and Sasha and Bayley wrestled on the independents prior to signing, but they weren't household names, even for people who really pay attention to wrestling beyond WWE.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know, for example, Bray Wyatt got started in FCW, did the Husky Harris thing, didn't work out, went back to NXT.
Yeah. Yeah.
Found this character that really worked.
Yeah.
The second NXT champion, Big E, hadn't wrestled before signing. Wildly successful career.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't think you can say NXT failed at developing talent in-house because there's a number of success stories during that era.
Yeah, and there are people who have risen, like Bianca Belair, for example.
Yeah, Bianca's another example, yeah.
Bianca's like probably the best example because she showed that she had what it takes to compete with the best. Now, NXT was a bit different with the women back then. Now it's like really heavy with, whenever there's a high profile, free agent signing, generally speaking with the women, they go through NXT first. With the men, for example, this year, like bringing back Rusev was never going to go to NXT, but Ricky Saints, Ethan Page, I know Ethan Page, I think was the year prior, but Penta and Phoenix, they both came to main roster instead of going through NXT. Jeff Cobb came to main roster, although he wasn't as high profile as some of the other names.
Well, same with Tamatonga, Tongaloa.
Yeah,
Talatonga,
right. Yeah.
They all signed, came over from Japan, went right to Maine.
It seemed like they had, it's like they say, when Triple H has obviously the majority of all the bloodline stuff happens on Maine, so they were going to be going there. Penta and Phoenix they probably were like, yeah, no, we want to go to Maine.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I think that when you talk about guys like Obafemi, Braun Breaker, I think they would have been just fine with the Keith Lees, Adam Coles,
Yeah.
I think they would have been just fine in that era.
Yeah, I think so too. Next hot take here from the Wallinator says the undercard of Saturday night's main event is more exciting than the main event. Cody versus Oba will steal the night.
I think that, I'm looking forward to that match. I think they're going to try to make him. I think they're really going to try to make him there.
I hope so. I really hope so.
And then him and Javon have their match at New Year's Evil.
Yeah. I think Saul Ruka versus Bailey is going to be really good.
That is going to be, they're going to fucking make her with that one.
Assuming they're doing the 4 matches and that's it for the card. Hopefully that means every match is getting a decent amount of time, which on Saturday night's main event is 12 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm sure the main event will go longer than that. But, if they at least give every match 10 to 12 minutes and allow the NXT talents to really showcase what they can do at the highest level possible.
Dude, that tag match is going to be great.
That's got potential to be really, really good.
That's going to be a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all the matches have the potential to be really, really good. I hope they're all given the opportunity to deliver.
What a great spot that Leon Slater has found himself in.
I know.
Like coming into the year versus where he is now. My God. That is so awesome for him. Javon Evans too, but Leon Slater coming in to the year as, was he even in? Okay, yeah, he's been with TNA since 2023.
All right.
My God. October, yeah, so late 2023.
Yeah.
So yeah. Wow. That's really great for him. Yeah, it's going to be, look, I think across the board it's going to be a good card. I think the Gunther Cena match is going to be really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a fun show. And on top of that, half the commercials from when it used to be on network.
Yep.
So,
yep.
That's good too.
So I wonder if more action.
Well, I do wonder if, because I know the first one on Peacock went strictly 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's any wiggle room on that.
That's
because
question.
Cena's probably going to have a thing.
Oh, yeah. They're going to cut his post-match speech short like they did Goldberg's.
Somebody in either our comments or on Twitter or something, I think it was in our comments, said, I think it was in our comments from the Raw review, said, this is how it's going to play out. Cena's going to be getting choked out by Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
And right before he taps out, he looks into the camera and he does his salute and he passes out. Too.
Yeah.
Which is a great scenario if they execute that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And then somebody else said, nah, he's got to cut his speech afterwards. And somebody else said, well, he's going to wake up. They're not going to kill him off. He salutes and then he
dithers away, huh?
They bring the EMTs in, He dithers away. Gunther turns him into dust. Oh, wow. Next up from Patrick Cheeseman. Patrick Cheeseman says, the Callis family is the only good faction in wrestling right now. Au contraire, give me the Judgment Day. I like the Judgment Day.
Yeah,
Callis
the
family's
Judgment
great,
Day.
though.
Yeah, the Callis family is great. Judgment Day is great. And what they have in common, they take the time to explore the dynamics between the members of the faction.
That's when the Callis family got really good. Is when they actually started like interacting and their ambitions and motivations started to butt heads and conflict. That's when it gets good.
That's when it gets good. That's what made the bloodline stuff so good.
I feel like the Vision has the opportunity. They just need to stop filming the rehearsals, Larson.
Yeah,
they got
that'll go a long way to helping, that's for sure.
Stop giving us the table read, please. And workshop it a little bit. Feel free to improv.
Yeah, do a few
All
takes.
Right, let's do this take again. All right. Let's try a different form of blocking here because Braun Breaker sitting down, standing up awkwardly, having to turn behind him is just not.
It's not working.
Who the fuck blocked that? Who produced that shit? Because it's horrible. You think, maybe it's all right. Why don't you just stand up right here and then you just turn around? Nobody has conversations like that.
Nobody, because he's got to play to the person he's talking to plus the camera, so he's doing that kind of stuff. It's not natural. You can't perform like that. Come on now.
You can't perform like that.
You can't perform like that. No, you can't perform like that. No, whenever a faction gets going good, because explore the interpersonal dynamics. I really like that you had the Okada Takeshita beef, and then Kyle Fletcher, after losing the TNT title, just kind of inserts himself in that too.
Right. Yes. And it's logical and organic and it makes sense.
They're all like Fletcher was content to let Okada and Takeshita fight amongst themselves because he thought he had the better prize, the TNT title. He hasn't got that anymore. He needs something to establish himself as alpha. Then he could be above the fray again.
Yep.
But until that happens, you're going to have 3 alphas duking it out for dominance in that faction.
Lord Blake Whitehouse says Iron Survivor is the best match in pro wrestling. I have not watched the Deadline Iron Survivors.
I haven't either, but every single one of them I've watched, I really like. Yeah, it takes kind of the best aspects of like the Rumble or the Casino Gauntlet match in that you have a bunch of people in the ring. You can tell some interesting stories there in terms of the dynamics between all the characters. Yeah. Plus, you have the drama of the pinfalls and the penalty box and the clock and all that.
I will say this. I saw the final outcome this year. Everybody had 1. Javon had 2. They need to start tripling up those scores. I want more falls. But for a guy who doesn't even watch NXT, who am I?
Who are you to ask for anything?
Can't be demanding anything.
No.
That's not going to get me to tune in.
No, it's not.
More Tony D.
I do appreciate that it varies though, because there was that one year that Trick got 3 and
that was 2 years ago. Last year they did everybody had 1 and one guy had 2 again.
Yeah.
I like when they just like the Trick one. They loaded it up. Load it up again.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Very well. So it's a great match stipulation. Hopefully someday they bring it to main roster.
That'd be awesome.
Next up, hot take from Hipster Chandler. Said, I'd watch Steven Larson in the boxing ring over Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. You don't want to see us box.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, we'd be gassed in 90 seconds.
Can we instead do Run Nation?
No way. I got a very thick skull, so
I'd be too slow to really get any momentum, so it wouldn't matter.
There's that too. No way.
I appreciate it, Hipster Chandler, but I don't know. All these fucking rigged ass boxing matches, now they're rigging the UFC. It's all a bunch of UFC is fake as hell, man. Although that dude getting his arm broken the other day.
That was crazy.
That was gnarly.
That was gnarly. That was a gnarly break.
Yeah, everything.
Did you see the close up of it?
No.
Where they're doing a replay and you hear Joe Rogan on commentary saying, "Well, no, that's not a dislocation or anything. That's definitely a break."
So did it break high? It broke high, didn't it?
It was somewhere around the elbow joint. Cause
it was around the elbow, yeah. It was really high. I was like, was it this guy or was it?
I don't know. I think it was the upper arm, but I don't know for sure.
You think it was the upper arm?
I watched it. I'm like, oh, and then I turned away because it was gnarly.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nasty injury. Hot take here from Obafemi. It says Obafemi's P1s? P1S says Succession has the best written character dynamics in TV history.
Oh boy, some of it is hard to watch. It gets so awkward. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'll counter, and I'm not saying like better or worse, but Mad Men was outstanding in that respect, and especially the first season of Deadwood was outstanding in that respect as well.
You know, I think the thing that always made Succession interesting is that the character dynamics were never static. People would, be aligned for a moment. Something would happen. Loyalties would shift. And it was this constant, moving around of these short-term alliances that would inevitably fall apart.
Yeah.
Down to the very end. I think that's one aspect of the dynamics that it was ever shifting and made it interesting, as opposed to some shows where the dynamics are really good, but they don't really change a whole lot.
Did you see the text that David Ellison allegedly sent to David Zaslav?
No.
It's the most Kendall Roy coded thing. Yeah, I'll see if I can find it. It is hilarious though. Where is it? Let's see here. Text. Here it is. David, I appreciate you're underwater today, so I wanted to send you a quick text. No, despite the noise of the last 24 hours, I have nothing but respect and admiration for you and the company. It would be the honor of a lifetime to be your partner and to be the owner of these iconic assets. If we have the privilege to work together, you will see that my father and I are the people you had dinner with. It's so Kendall Roy.
Yeah.
It's so fucking.
Imagine this. Streaming Plus. We'll call it.
Oh man, God, all these fucking scumbags. All right, let's talk about movies, man.
All right, let's end on this one. Die Hard Homer here says The Terminator is a slasher movie, an unstoppable killer going after a final girl who uses guns instead of knives. I mean, in terms of the convention of a slasher movie, yeah, it fits.
I was thinking about this the other day because I was reading something or somebody sent me a thing about Predator. And I'm like, Predator is such a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's such a horror movie.
Yeah.
Going after one victim.
Well, I mean, in that respect, Predator is a slasher movie too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You don't do the whole, pulls his fucking skull and spine out.
Yeah.
And not think that it's a slasher movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's some of the best movies. They take from different genres and they put it into a cohesive thing. So it's not just not one thing.
Can you think of a movie that you wouldn't think would follow the slasher movie convention, but actually does?
Can I think of a movie that, what do you mean?
Similar to The Terminator, where you think about it in terms of the convention of the slasher movie, that could be considered as such. Is there a movie that's even more kind of out of left field that you kind of look at it from a broad view and think, yeah, this could be construed in a way as a slasher movie? Like that Rubber movie about the killer tire.
I mean, I'd have to go back and watch it again, which I would love to do because it's awesome. But like Nightcrawler, it's not a slasher movie, but you can't tell me that dude ain't got horror movie villain guy.
Oh yeah,
Lewis Bloom. I think
Video Production News.
Video Production News. Yeah. I wonder if there are elements from your slasher movies, your horror movies, that specifically influenced the character, the plot, all that kind of stuff. Because it's got a very horror movie. I mean, he's not like a fucking killer. Well, he was in the end, but he's not like a killer.
Yeah.
But I could see that influence, anyways.
Yeah. I found a music one here we could talk about, even though I'm not that familiar with this album. Maybe you are. Nick here says Jeff Buckley's Grace is the best album of the 90s.
It has. I could. It might be it might be the best vocal performance of the 90s. Jeff Buckley had an angel's voice, an absolute
he was
angel's
a hell of a
voice.
singer. Yeah,
He was an absolute tragedy the way he passed and how young he was. I've listened to that album a lot. I shout out Jeff, not Jeff Buckley, but Jeff, our friend Jeff,
yeah,
for exposing me to Jeff Buckley. I mean, best is a lofty thing.
yeah.
You know, the 90s are jam-packed with amazing albums. So I don't know that I would put it number one. But again, it's like the Succession Mad Men thing. You know, when you reach a certain level of quality, can you really quibble over like what's best, what's better than the other? You know,
yeah.
it's like you have to boil it down to what's your favorite. An absolute gem of an album. Yeah, just a great album. So best. Hey, if it's his favorite, then it is the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So, anyways, that's going to do it for this edition of Hot Takes. Thanks, everybody, for submitting yours. We appreciate it. Make sure you're subbed to the channel and you turn the notify bell thing on so that when we post a thread, you are notified. You get the little bell thing. So, that's going to do it. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.